listening to such wonderful praises out loud, and I just want to say thank you for the kind words that were offered. Principal, thank you for your tremendous leadership and advocacy for all children, especially those most in need, and recognizing the need for the community schools model that provide wraparound services for every child, and recognizing that there is no such thing as a child who is a failure. There is only failed policies, there are only failed programs, and there is only failed leadership. That is the difference in terms of what we need in our community for our children. There is no more precious resource than a child with a great potential for a future to be able to help this city, this state, and this country. My parents came to this country from Mexico and Argentina. They came in search of the American dream. The American dream's greatest foundation is public education. I know in my heart that there is no greater predictor for the well-being of our future community than making sure that every child has access to a quality educational program. And what have I learned in the past 5 years on the school board of some quick summarizations of my experience? 1, there is a very special place in heaven and hell for school board members. 2, if you do things the right way, you will end up personally and professionally broke. This is a volunteer position that requires a tremendous amount of time and effort to be able to understand the issues of academics, business, contracts, human resources, scholarly articles about how can we get our students college and career ready, to be able to engage the parents in the community, to be able to go to the meetings to understand what's actually happening in the campuses, to be able to talk to the folks that are in the field 24/7 to understand what is happening to our children today. And for a trustee to be able to spend time with children, students, young leaders, our future, who can talk to us in the most candid and responsible way, to be able to say, this is what I'm going through, this is how I need help, and can you serve as a voice for me at that table? I'm the first lawyer in my family, and I tell folks that I served as an advocate for my clients. Now I serve as an advocate for students and children. I serve as an advocate for educators and for those in our community that so desperately want excellence and equity regardless of zip code. Another thing that I've learned on the school board, and the sad fact is, if we were to compare some of the modern world of education to another area of profession, let's compare education to medicine. Where are we today? In terms of our ability to assess what's appropriately happening, a lot of people in that central office are still bleeding people with leeches. So they're saying, well, the fever went away, it must have been the leeches. There is no critical and strong assessment to be able to say what is working and what do we need to invest our funds in. The funds need to go as close and quickly to the children as possible. To be able to have in the educator's hands, the principal, to be able to say, I need the access to the resources to be able to hire a librarian, a nurse, a counselor. I visited in Austin ISD what they call a community schools model. They have 1,200 students at this high school. They have 500 volunteers. They have a volunteer coordinator. They have social emotional support services available for the students. And they have a laundry list of over 50 community partners. Churches, nonprofits, hospitals, University of Texas at Austin, St. Edwards. We in Houston, we are Space City. We've also been described as Heart City for opening up our arms to the rest of the world. But ladies and gentlemen, when we have a situation where we've got to open up the school doors and allow people in the community to come and help children, Houston is now the most diverse city in the country. but it's also one of the most racially and economically segregated. 80% of the children that go to HISD are economically disadvantaged. 62% are Latino, 25% are African American. It's a very diverse urban school district, and it serves as ground zero for what the rest of the nation will be like. So if we do things right, they will be replicated. If we do things wrong, they will be the spotlight for the entire nation. And I will say that a lot of us have seen a lot of spotlights focusing on some particular issues that need to be corrected immediately. And those involve things that I must say, when I first started with my rose-colored lenses, never in a million years did I think that there would need to be someone on the school board that served as an advocate for one, responsible spending, and making sure that the public dollars are used as equitably, efficiently, and economically as possible. The past 5 years I've worked on revamping the audit committee to create an audit committee charter and roles and responsibilities for our chief audit executive. Guess what? It came in extraordinarily handy. We have a $1.89 billion bond. We have 40 different schools that have been promised renovations and new buildings. We have to make sure we follow through on the promises that we made to the community. And the best way of doing it, you and I know how to do it. We save our dollars, we spend frugally, we are effective and efficient because we know that we have to maximize the use of our dollars. I've been serving on the school board. I want to continue to serve as someone that's going to say, one, let's be fiscally responsible and manage the public's dollars in the most effective manner, whether it's for the bond or whether it's for paying for the academic services for our children and our community. Two, we are about to select the next superintendent, the most important leader in HISD, and next to the board, who holds the superintendent responsible and accountable. We need a community-minded superintendent that's a collaborator and an innovator, that wants to listen to your opinion, that takes your suggestions and recommendations as important, that knows what's happening in our community, that is able to communicate effectively and knowing what we need and what we want from listening to us and not forcing us to swallow programs that are purportedly good for us because he or she thinks that they know better. We know. We can help. We want to be partners. We need a community-minded superintendent that's going to lead in that respect, working with the community hand in hand and not forcing programs down our throat. And also somebody that's not going to be putting lipstick on a pig, that's going to say, I want to assess what's happening in the community. If I'm sick and I present to the emergency room with the symptoms of a heart attack, I don't want anybody saying that I need plastic surgery. Maybe I'll look better in the end, but I want to be alive. And so that's what we have to do with HISD too. The truth of the matter is, we all want to be able to say, what's the real measure of how much progress needs to be made? And what's the best roadmap for us to get to that point? I want somebody that's going to be ethical, honest, collaborative, and reliable. We need an advocate on the school board for District 8 that has the best interest of the community in mind, that's going to put the needs and issues of the children as the first priority, as opposed to the will and the desires of vendors and contractors. I never in a million years thought that I would be facing the issues that we face today. But I will tell you that it has been a great honor and a privilege to be able to serve on the school board for the past 5 years. I fought corruption. I will continue to fight corruption. I will demand for the highest levels of excellence and equity for all children. And I'll be there to be with you so we can work together. We have such great promise and potential. We have fantastic leaders who need more support. And we have great teachers and educators that want to remain in the district and want to come back to the district. That includes administrators and teachers and support staff who have since left in the past 5 years because of this punitive, onerous situation that has existed. I tell folks, you know what, to be honest, I'm tired of fighting. I want to start building. and with a new superintendent, and with you as a partner, it's time for us to build a vision of what is it that we now want in HISD, and what is it that we want for the future of our children and for the future of the city of Houston. So I just want to say thank you.